Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Upstate Speed Tests. Today we are at one of my favorite locations to test at. This is Lourdes Hospital, now owned by Guthrie. Guthrie Lourdes Hospital, I guess, is the new name. The reason this is such a fun place to test is you have 2 out of the 3 providers in the area on the roof. Technically 4 if you count Dish, but Dish isn't up there. Anyway, you got Verizon on a brand new site over here that I've shown you guys several times before, and you've got AT&T off to the side here, still with no mid-band. I just happened to be at the hospital today for an appointment. Don't worry, I'm not dying or anything. It's just a apnea thing, sleep apnea. So we're gonna test Verizon, and then we'll test T-Mobile and AT&T, both inside and outside of the hospital. And this is a really fun spot for Verizon because this site shares a this site shares a fiber ring with the ODES system, outdoor distributed antenna system, that Verizon built back around 2015 on the west side of Binghamton. So it's really, really fast depending on the site or depending on the server. And these results are actually kind of slow for Verizon. Let me put on Do Not Disturb mode. There we go. Yeah, so that might be a fluke because I just switched the eSIM over to Verizon. Let's try Revolution Broadband in Claverack, Pennsylvania. I don't know, I can't read it from here. 70 millisecond unloaded ping. And the loaded pings are looking pretty good for Verizon. It is 5 o'clock right now, so we're hitting peak rush hour. Hopefully the inside results are a little bit better for you guys. 550 on the down, 70 millisecond unloaded ping. The loaded ping times are kind of high, but again, we're hitting peak traffic time here right around the 5 o'clock hour. Jitter at 191, wonder what happened there. So yeah, I've seen peaks over 2 gigabits per second on this site before, but clearly we're hitting a little bit of traffic on the site due to rush hour. You do have Binghamton University right across the river that way. Although I don't think the kids are back from school yet. Let's try Northland Communications. They are up near Utica, New York. And yep, looks like we're finally gonna break a gig. And I don't know, I don't think we're in a null sector. The site's kind of pointed at us. So we're getting close to 900 down. And again, if it wasn't rush hour, I think we'd easily be breaking 2 gigabits per second. Wouldn't that be incredible if an entire gigabit of bandwidth was being chewed up by network traffic right now? That'd be pretty crazy. Although I'm sure it's a possibility. We'll try one more test here on the Ookla app. 30 millisecond unloaded ping. And now we're gonna get some faster results. And again, it just goes to show that speed tests that go down to the New York City area from upstate New York always perform better than other locations for the most part. Philly, too. Some of the Philly servers are faster. I guess bigger city, bigger bandwidth? I don't know. 1,814 on the download. Very comparable to my fiber at home when it behaves correctly. The unloaded ping times are really low, and the jitter's at 5. Let's do fast.com real quick. Here we go with fast. We're getting... and the other thing about fast.com, especially at higher bandwidth, higher capacity tests, it seems to be a lot more inaccurate than at lower ones. That's just one of my little observations. So for whatever reason, we're only pulling 420 here on the speed test, blaze up. And we got 28 millisecond unloaded, 68 millisecond loaded. And the upload is going to be looking in the 60s maybe? And it says, it's showing that we're in Albany and the server is Newark, New Jersey. On the download, we used a little over half a gig, and on the upload, we got 170 megabits so far. So yeah, if it wasn't rush hour, I think our results would be a lot more consistent because this site is just screaming fast. Let's switch over to T-Mobile next. Before we do, though, got to give a shout out to the channel's video sponsor, Circled In. Circled In can help you reduce your wireless costs by joining a pre-existing family plan, and they also do streaming services as well. Let's talk about them real quick, and then we'll come right back. Today's video is brought to you by Circled In. CircledIn.com makes it super easy to get the benefits and savings that come along with a postpaid or prepaid wireless account without having to set one up yourself. Let's take just a second to see how easy it is to use CircledIn.com and save a ton of money on your wireless. Starting out on the CircledIn.com homepage, I would start by clicking All Circles. Once the page loads, you can sort by postpaid or prepaid providers like Verizon, T-Mobile, Google Fi, Simple Mobile, and Metro. If you see a plan that piques your interest or you feel fits you best, you can click Join Circle, read through more details about the plan, and if you decide to go for it, you can click Reserve. Circled In also now supports streaming services like Netflix, Disney, Hulu, HBO Max, and more. CircledIn.com. Check them out today. Thank you again for supporting the channel. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Here we go. We got T-Mobile fired up. By the way, drop some comments. I love reading the comments and seeing what you guys have to say about all these different results. Also, this part of the video is being recorded on the Pixel 9 Pro XL using Super Night Mode. Let me know how it looks. I'm curious. So here's T-Mobile, connected to ultra capacity, more than likely either connected to a macro on a hill in the distance over there or a macro over at Binghamton University. Either way, they don't really have a site in the immediate vicinity of the hospital, so I'm not surprised that these results are what they are, although they're pretty fast. I mean, for not having a site nearby, 157 down, 17 up, not terrible, but I think what you're going to see is that they'll be pretty bad inside the hospital because they don't have a site on the roof, and there's no T-Mobile repeaters in the hospital that I'm aware of, and I think it'll show. Let's do one more quick T-Mobile run here. We'll go to GoNet Speed in Trumansburg, New York. And we're going to start out with an 80 millisecond ping. Loaded ping times are very high for T-Mobile. In this area, T-Mobile usually has the lowest of the ping times among the big providers. So now, all over the map, we're getting 12.3 down, jitter at 21, and all the way around, this was kind of a crappy test. So T-Mobile, not great, not terrible in the area, usable for sure, but it won't blow your socks off. Let's switch over to AT&T, run some tests for them on the Pixel 9 Pro XL coming up next. All right, Pixel 9 Pro running AT&T. AT&T, again, right up there on the hospital roof. They're that set of racks right there, or that set of antennas, I should say. And yeah, the speeds for AT&T are not terrible. I mean, they're pretty good. Again, I don't think these results will blow anybody away, but, and the pings are kind of high. You got 112 for the unloaded ping, and 628 on the loaded ping for the download, which honestly, for AT&T in our area, not the worst it's ever been. Jitter at 7, upload very respectable, running a little over 50. Maybe a little over 60. Nope, we didn't quite get there. But anyway, yeah, not terrible for AT&T. It's not going to blow your socks off, but it's very usable. And I think inside they have repeaters in the hallways for AT&T in there. So I think in the hospital it'll be very usable as well. AT&T, their mid-band deployment in the area is very, very slow. But the sites that they do have deployed with mid-band are very fast, very respectable speeds. There's at least three AT&T sites in the area that you can easily break a gig on now. So this is our last run here for AT&T. We got 275 on the down, 62 millisecond unloaded ping, which, hey, that's much better than the last time. Loaded ping times are pretty okay for AT&T, and the jitter is pretty high at 46, though. So yeah, there's the performance outdoors for all three major providers in the Binghamton area. And you've got a, like I said, fairly new rooftop-mounted macro for Verizon, and AT&T an older macro with no midband. So let's go inside and test next and see how we do on all three providers. All right, we're deep inside the atrium area of Lourdes Hospital. We got a beautiful fountain and lots of nice sitting areas with like a cafe or something, I think. And we'll start out by testing Verizon Wireless. 40 millisecond ping. And pushing over a gigabit inside. I believe this is coming from the rooftop macro. I don't believe Verizon has any kind of repeaters in the building. So 1,154 on the down, 40 millisecond ping time. Loaded ping times are really good for Verizon, especially in this area. Jitter at 3 milliseconds. Let's do one more server. We'll try GoNet speed in Trumansburg, New York. High 30s for unloaded ping. Again, really spectacular for Verizon. This server looks like it's not going to get quite as high as the last one. The loaded ping times are a little bit lower though, so that's pretty stupendous. Jitter at 4. And the upload is a little over 70. There's Verizon. Give me a minute here. I'll switch over to T-Mobile. We'll try them next. All right, we're back. We got T-Mobile fired up and ready to go. Testing with the same first server we did for Verizon. T-Mobile does not have a site that's in the immediate vicinity of the hospital, and inside the building, service on T-Mobile ranges from no bars and SOS to 1 to 2 bars like we're getting now. So we're getting a fraction, tiny fraction of the service we got out of Verizon. Loaded ping times are terrible. Unloaded at 76, kind of high for T-Mobile. Jitter at 22, also a little bit high. And our upload's going to be virtually non-existent. So all in all, it's actually impressive you can get any service on T-Mobile inside this building, as again, they don't have a cell site in the immediate vicinity. Verizon has the macro on the roof and small cells outside as well. So there you go. Let's switch over to AT&T next on the Google Pixel 9 XL, and we'll give them a shot. We've got AT&T ready to go on the Google Pixel 9 XL. AT&T has repeaters throughout the hospital and a macro on the roof that's been here longer than Verizon. Getting 126 for the unloaded ping. Loaded ping time's a little bit high. Actually, it's a lot high. Jitter at 14, 85.2 on the down. And the server we're connected to is one of the faster ones in the Speedtests portfolio in my area. And the upload is struggling to break over 7. And the loaded ping time is very high as well. So there's all 3 providers inside of the hospital.